Hi, it's me, Creaky.
Women are the physical manifestation of sensory perception. They can't be trusted to handle anything of greater responsibility than daily household chores and taking care of babies.
Well, now that we've upset all the women watching this, let's see what else this video's got to offer. Tidy!
Women are the physical manifestation of sensory perception. And in the same sense that when your senses are overloaded in any particular way, whether they're overloaded with pleasure or overloaded with pain, if your senses keep receiving that same stimulus over and over, you are not going to have as strong of a reaction to that same stimulus.
Well, none of that makes any sense at all, and I've been staring at the definition of sensory perception for the last 10 minutes. And even if I tilt my head and pull my glasses to the end of my nose, it still doesn't make any sense.
In this same sense, being that women are the physical manifestations of this phenomenon, that is why women's value must be preserved. They can't be trusted to handle anything of greater responsibility, anything of greater importance than daily household chores and taking care of babies. Not taking care of children, taking care of babies.
Babies are children, just really small ones. Now, I don't want to jump the gun and spoil our fun, but is this guy implying that women are nothing more than baby-making machines?
Because once babies turn into children, that's when the psychological development comes into place, which far exceeds the capabilities that women are able to provide for the child.
Wait, what? So women are only capable of looking after people that are intellectually inferior to them? And once a baby is no longer a baby, women have nothing to offer? Let's take a look at your channel. I mean, if you're making such bold claims, I'm sure your channel is filled with content that backs it all up. Ah, right. Maybe not then. Seems like this misogynistic little turd has lost his nerve and wiped his channel. Shame. I tend to take all my advice about women from toxic little arse-wipes like him.
But going back to the value preservation, women's value has to be preserved while a man's value has to be created. Women are born with inherent value, men are born with no value, or next to no value. They're born with the potential for value.
Now it's starting to make sense. Someone isn't having much luck with the ladies, are they? I'm sure this video will help you though. I mean, what woman in their right mind wouldn't want to hook up with a guy like this? He's such a catch. Am I right, ladies?
That's why when you see a young woman who hasn't done anything with her life, nobody's going to look down on her if she doesn't want to go to college or if she doesn't want to work. Nobody's going to think less of her for not wanting to do those things.
So having children, raising those children, caring for them, giving them a hug when they need a hug, comforting them when they're sick, all count as doing nothing. Okay? And you say nobody is going to look down on them while making a video doing exactly that. Because you've already said that women have nothing to offer a child that has passed the baby stage. So we'll say from about age 3 onwards, women have nothing to offer a child. This is pissing me off and I'm not even a woman.
Men's value is based on what they've done and the type of person that they've turned themselves into.
Well, you'd better hope not, because from everything I've read about you, you have turned yourself into the most hated man on the internet. What on earth were you thinking? Did you really think that any man worth his salt was going to take advice from a spotty little virgin who's butthurt because he can't get his end away?
But a woman's value is not based on that. The reason a woman has inherent value is because her value is based on her fertility. To put it bluntly, that's what it's based on. Women's value is based on their fertility. That's why it's in the best interest of a woman not to waste her inherent value and try to lock down a high value man or a man who looks like he's on his way to becoming high value as soon as she can.
Well, there you go, girls. If you act now, like right now, don't even finish watching this video. Because if you do, you're gonna miss out on this hunky stud. I mean, what woman in their right mind wouldn't want to get with a guy like this? Look at him. Ask his age first though, because I can't really tell, but he's definitely somewhere between 15 and 25. So you know he's been around the block and that he speaks from experience and not from things he's read in Facebook groups.
And it's not just fertility either, it's also based on her ability to stay with a mate. Children are more likely to survive if the father's in the home. Children grow up much healthier and much happier and are much more successful later in life when the father is present.
I actually don't know what to say to that. Maybe his dad wasn't around, which sucks. But I just can't agree with any of what he just said. I know lots of people from single parent families that are perfectly happy. Would they be happier with both parents in their lives? Maybe. I don't know. And I'm not enough of a douchebag to try and claim that I do.
And not just present, but consciously involved in the children's lives. That's why stepfathers don't really do the trick. You can't just inject a male person into a child's life and say, this is your new father now. That's not how psychology works. That's not how human brains work. The child knows it's not their actual father. And before any idiots go, well, I formed a bond with my stepfather, I'm aware that exceptions exist. I would still argue that you're not as close to your stepfather as you would have been to your biological father had you had the chance.
So this is starting to make a little bit of sense now. And I know I could be wrong, but if I had to hazard a guess, I would say that you have a stepfather and you don't like him much. And as a result of that, you now resent your mother for remarrying, and now we're here on the internet claiming that women aren't real, which makes a lot of sense as you've spent the entirety of your video telling us about how awful women are, even though they're not real.
But like I said, the more experiences, whether positive or negative, that a woman goes through decreases her value because women cannot handle the stresses or the pleasures of life. The more stress she goes through, the more she sees the world as nothing more than a negative place.
Yeah, women, how dare you experience things? Learn your place, which according to this coctus erectus, is flat on your back popping babies out, only to be interrupted by making him a sandwich. It's just not on, women having experiences. It's a slippery slope. What next? Women voting or running billion-dollar corporations? I'd love to know why he thinks like he does. It's just so far removed from any level of rational thinking.
It's because women are not able to connect with God in the same way that men are.
Damn, why did I ask?
Women are not able to renew themselves mentally. They see everything on earth through the lens of the material. They see everything on earth through the lens of sensory perception. If something doesn't excite them enough, then it's not a good thing. If something stresses them out too much, then it's also not a good thing. Everything has to be new, everything has to be fresh, everything has to be exciting all the time, 100% of the time, otherwise it's bad. That's how women see the world.
Right, one thing at a time. Women see things through the lens of a material world. Now I know that's true in the case of Madonna, but really? You basically just said that a woman is only interested in a man if he can buy her things. And I know that can be true, sadly, but it most certainly isn't always the case. If Mrs. Blinder had got with me because of my money, she would have been very disappointed. Because I don't have any. She's clearly with me because I have a massive dick. Sorry, I messed up the editing, hang on. She's clearly with me because I have a massive number of other things to offer. You're such a dick. So as a man, you're saying that men never get stressed, or think that things that make us stressed are bad, and that if we see something boring, we don't give it a miss? It's only women that do that.
They don't have an accurate lens of reality through which they see the world. They just don't see reality. They interpret the quality of reality through the type of sensory input they're receiving. That's why girls don't work out.
Don't they? Well, I must be a girl then, because that reminds me, I forgot to go to the gym myself. That's the second year on the trot now. Must do better. And what sort of idiot makes a claim like that? I was going to put pictures of fit girls working out on the screen, but what if Mrs. Blinder checks my internet history? How the hell am I going to explain that one? So you'll just have to use your imagination.
They are fortunate enough to be born with a nice looking body, and then it just wastes away. They don't work out. They could preserve their body a little bit by working out, but that's why. It's because it hurts. Working out hurts. And since women only interpret the world through sensory perception, anything that hurts is a bad thing.
But you said that women only have value based on their fertility. Fertility leads to children. And I realize that this is a conversation you should have had with your dad, but do you actually know where babies come from? And more specifically, how they get out? So you think a woman pushing the head of a baby out is completely pain-free? Well, I'll be sure to tell Mrs. Blinder. Oh, and don't worry, you'll know if I had that conversation when you see my next video.
And just as when I was saying earlier, when a woman goes through too many negative experiences, she's not able to renew herself because women are not as connected to God. They're not able to refresh themselves psychologically. They're not able to detach themselves from the material world. And don't let their astrology fool you either. All this crystals, all the chakra, the healing bullshit, there's no such thing as chakras, there's no such thing as crystals, you know, lighting incense. All of that is still sensory. There's no divine presence there. It's still, just because it makes them feel good doesn't mean that there's a divine presence there.
Right, there's no way I'm agreeing with anything this idiot says just based on my own principles. But you're right, there is no divine presence, or at least not one that anyone can prove. And I can assure you that that isn't exclusive to women. No one can prove the existence of God because, well, you all know what I think.
But in the same sense that negative experiences traumatized them in a way that cannot be recovered from, so do pleasure experiences. If a woman has the best sex of her life with a guy, she will never be able to enjoy another man again. It has to stay at that high level.
Pretty bold claim, which I'm sure comes from years of experience. Did some girl tell you you weren't very good and she hurt your little feelings? Get a grip on yourself, which I'm guessing you have to, you know, because women are awful people that just can't cope with your level of sexual prowess. So you have to take matters into your own hands, or hand. And by matters, I mean your wiener.
But jumping back to what I was saying, even pleasurable experiences are too much for the woman to handle because they cannot refresh themselves. They can't see men in a new light. They can't appreciate different aspects of the man. All they see is whoever gives them the most dick, whoever gives them the most exciting experience.
Well, luckily for all the women watching this, that isn't gonna be you. Do you really have such a low opinion of women that you think that's all any woman wants? Now, I know that not everyone will agree with me, and that's fine. But haven't you heard the expression that behind every good man is a good woman? Not like that, don't be disgusting. Unless that's what you're into, then strap it on and break out the lube. But to say all women are only interested in getting the finest quality giggle stick is really stupid. Men and women have so many options. That's what adult stores are for. I was in an Ann Summers store last week, and they had a vibrator that was described as 9 inches and realistic. And I thought, well, which is it?
You ever notice how girls who've been ran through or just more attractive girls tend to look at men with a sense of resentment or a sense of pity?
I know! Crazy! Because men never resent women, do they? Oh wait, isn't that what this entire video is about? His blatant resentment for women because he can't get one.
Or they look at nice guys definitely with a sense of pity as well.
Well, you're safe then.
Even they understand that their value has gone out the window. It went out the window with the first 100 guys they slept with. And I do mean 100. You guys don't realize how utterly abundant women's sex options are.
You have options as well. You could always try the left hand. And I've heard that if you sit on it for a while, it doesn't even feel like your own hand.
Most women's sex options, even for average girls, are through the roof. And it's because of the dynamic. Men are the ones who are supposed to approach the women. Therefore, women are naturally going to have more options. It just makes it seem like that. That's why women's egos are through the roof. That's why the moment they don't get this attention, they go fucking nuts.
Oh yeah, I'm sure women are going nuts. Well, the women who've seen your video anyway, but not for the reasons you think. It's funny how a pathetic little dweebus like this can claim to be such an expert on the female psyche, while simultaneously calling all women gold diggers that are only interested in sex. It's almost like he doesn't know women at all.
That's why women can't acknowledge that they do have it easier in life. That's why women can't acknowledge the privileges they have in life, because it's been a part of their life their entire lives.
Have you ever actually tried saying that to a woman? Go on, I dare you. I double dare you. Tell a woman she has it easy.
But don't be fooled. Even they understand that their value is gone. That's why they don't like guys treating them with appreciation. That's why they don't like guys treasuring them, because they know they're not treasures.
And that's exactly why I keep Mrs. Blinder locked up in the kitchen. That's what women are for, clearly. If we're to believe this guy, why would I treasure somebody who's been by my side for 30 years? Seen me at my best, seen me at my worst, and everywhere in between. And supported me every step of the way. And why would I treasure somebody who's given me 3 amazing sons? It just makes no sense, does it?
Things are much more nuanced and complex than the vast majority of people will ever realize, much less admit to. But I don't want to ramble on for too long. I think I've spoken on this long enough. Smash that like button if you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already. Click the bell so that you don't miss new uploads. And I will see y'all in the next one. Take care.
Well, for any of that to happen, you're probably going to need some videos on your channel, but you went with the delete everything option because you upset so many people, you coward. If you're going to say something, then be man enough to stand behind what you said. If you're so sure you were right, which you're not, so I kind of understand why you've tried to wipe all traces of this video from the internet. But unfortunately for you, unfortunately for me, and the hundreds of other channels that have made videos about you, the internet is forever. And when something is said online, it's damn near impossible to unsay it. Thanks for watching, and on behalf of the vast majority of men, I would like to assure you that we're not all like this turkey. See you next time.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe. By order of the Creaky Blinder.